Hello everyone, we are live yet again, and this is my author's chat of the week. And as I wait for this app to start notifying everybody that I am out and about, also keep an eye out for my co-host, and we'll be talking about books, writing, publishing, and everything in between. And since I actually know this particular author personally, met him and hung out with him on a couple occasions, this should be a good time had by all. But yeah, let me know what's been going on with you. My special news of note is that my long-awaited giant order of my special edition books, as you can see up here, they just arrived. So I know for the next part of this week, I will be signing and preparing all these books to be shipped out to all the people who backed that particular campaign, which is very exciting for me. And it's also daunting when I unpack all those boxes to see how many books I actually have to sign and pack and ship out. Hello?
Maybe.
Hi, how are you? There you are.
How are you?
Good. It's been, well, I was going to say the last time I saw you would have been probably this last fall for Dragon. I know you were, I'm trying to think if I crossed paths with you anytime since then, but I know there's been some news on your end since then. So let's start from the beginning. For anybody who doesn't know who you are, reintroduce yourself, and then we'll get into all the things that you've been working on and what you're writing at that time.
Yeah, Mikel D. Melwasul, a writing duo, usually. I have a co-author, David, who doesn't do a whole lot of live appearances and stuff. But we write epic urban fantasy about a magical apocalypse in our world.
I love that. And I was going to say, and I love the fact that I know one of the things that you had been pitching the first book for a while. What was it? Elves and... what was it?
Elves on a tank fighting orcs in Atlanta.
I like it.
Walked around Dragon Con with a sign that said that, and it got a lot of attention.
I was going to say, why wouldn't it? I feel like that would be...
That's the quick pitch. When I see someone, I'm like, you have like a Lord of the Rings shirt on or something, I'm like, I'm going to sell this to you with one sentence, and it usually works pretty well.
I was going to say, I mean, if I didn't already have the book, I would have been like,
Right. Yeah, it's a good success rate on that one.
I love that. And when did your second book come out? Because I feel like that's relatively recent. I know you ran a campaign probably in between we saw each other at Dragon and then now, but everything's a blur for me.
Sure. Yeah, and there's so many authors and people in overlap, so no worries. I wouldn't expect you to know all that offhand. Book 2, Paragon Attrition, comes out in June.
Oh, okay, so it's right soon.
We have a short story collection that came out last July, that the audio edition for that just released. And that's got like 11 narrators, because each short story has a different narrator and stuff, and most of them are other indie authors and things, so it's a really fun collaborative thing. So that's like been coming out over time. It's supposed to be wide release, so it's on Audible currently. It's supposed to get to Spotify eventually, I guess. Mm-hmm. But that's this one. But the book 2 of the series comes out in June.
Ooh. Okay, let me ask, who are you distributing it through to make it wide? Because I've been using in audio, and I know that's what
I've done for Apocrypha, but it's been like approved for like a month now, and it hasn't hit any of the platforms.
Wow.
For some reason, like, I need to send a follow-up, honestly.
Yeah, you probably...
I sent a follow-up email with their quality check, and they were like, oh yeah, no, this should have been done like 2 weeks ago, and they pushed it through, but I haven't seen it anywhere other than Audible, which I did myself separately.
Yeah, I was going to say, for that one, I know when they changed the company, there were definitely a couple ones that I also need to reach out to them and ask a couple questions, because for some reason, all the books have been approved, but in different platforms, right. I've had the more recent books, so the ones later on in the series, but some of the earlier ones still haven't hit. And they're like, coming soon. I'm like, well...
There's an order of operations here we should be doing.
I need to follow this up. But yes, I understand that. So, I mean, when you get to the point where it is being distributed through those outlets, it is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, yes. And I'm excited because it's 12 voices, and I narrated one. And it's a lot of fun. It's very different from our 24-hour long one. It's only like 2-3 hours. And the stories are a variety of genres and stuff. So I think it's really, once people start to pick it up, they're like, okay, this is actually pretty great.
I like that. And who compiled that? Because again, for me, when converting a physical book into an audiobook. I don't do that myself. I make sure I get someone who has that capability or works with some kind of group or company because I'm like, I'm not that tech savvy.
Atlas Creed actually did the production for us.
Oh, fantastic. Atlas.
Yeah, he narrated one of the short stories as well.
Ooh, that's intriguing. Now, I'm like, wait, do I want the audio too? Wait, hold on.
For the short story, for both of our books, I recommend it because our Exordium, the narrator, does a phenomenal job. And you wouldn't believe it's the only audiobook he's ever narrated. But for the short story collection, just because there's such a variety of voices, and you can really get to meet some new voices in the community and some underrepresented people, in my opinion, which is why we did that. So I recommend it. It's super short too. So
a nice little quick read in between.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
Yeah, and you can do it like just one story at a time, and like one's like 5 minutes, if that. So it's a fun little bender.
Yeah, my husband and I, when we started getting on road trips, and the larger ones, we pick full audiobooks or stuff like that. But sometimes it's fun to get those shorter ones for when you're going here and there. You can like put one in for a couple hours and enjoy it. So I love that.
Right.
So with your upcoming book, what are you doing to celebrate Book 2's release of your series?
We're doing a book festival or a book fair, a mini book fair in Statesboro. Good transition. That was nice. Yeah, so it's gonna double as a book fair and a launch party, which I'm very excited for because I can't think of any better way to celebrate a book launch than by surrounding myself with other authors and having them sell their books too. Which has gotten a very varied reactions because some people are like, I don't want to step on your toes. I'm like, it's not stepping on my toes.
Yeah.
If you're there, it brings more people in. Like it is, let's spread that. Like we're not competition. This is a collaboration. So I can't think of a better way to celebrate a book's release than with other authors.
And that's perfectly. I love the way. Trying to think of words. It's a long day. I had like 3 hours of sleep, so please bear in mind that my brain is not my words. My brain have not connected much today. But the point being is, I do like the idea of it being a community thing and having gone to some of these, these one-day fests. The fact that this particular author brings in sometimes their readership, and someone else posts something and they get seen. So it does bring in more attention and potentially more readership when you, again, cross-pollinate.
And we're up against, Amazon and all those places. So it's like they have all these different things and all these different options. So why not lean into that when we can?
And this is now the second event you're running because you're putting this one on. And earlier on this year, you threw another one, which... Again, I have been on the planning side of things before, and kudos to you. That just the idea of it is making me exhausted. But again, I'm also really exhausted today, so it's adding to that.
Right. Yeah, it was, and the first one went really, really well. We only had about 300 people come through, but for Statesboro, that's really good. And I think like 95% of them actually made purchases and stuff. So like most of the authors that were present either sold out. Every single person there made table, and it was really fun too because a lot of people were like, "I was just here for the vibes because like we wanted to support. We know you.
Yeah.
Like, it's a small thing. We weren't expecting it, but like they're all like, sign me up for the next one. This was too much fun." And we had a great venue. It's a small coffee shop bookstore in Statesboro, which is a phenomenal. Like it's an old house, like an old 2-story house that's been converted into this just lovely venue. And the host there is super chill and super great. So. It was a great culmination of things, and we're going to even. I've been talking with the owner. He wanted to do like 3 more this year. I was like, hold on. We'll do one in June for my launch, and then we'll do one in December.
Nice.
Because it's a lot of work, and I want to give it time to prep, and I want to give it time to get the word out and get all the authors and stuff. So it was good, but for this one we're even going to try and do like some themed drinks and stuff. And then I did something ridiculous, which hopefully will pay off. But I got wizard hats. I got enough wizard hats to put a hat on every vendor. So every author there and every artist is going to have a wizard hat because my hope is that we'll create an appearance to the event and create a unity and potentially hope boost its online presence and have people make content. Because I think if you show up to an event and it's got a thematic thing where all the you know who the authors are because they've got these fun hats on, I'm hoping that will propel us forward for future events.
I mean, I like that. I haven't seen that before at a book event. So
Yeah.
again, that branding, you're rocking and rolling with that. But yeah, I do want to attend one once, but I just wish I was a little closer because
Sure.
drive time and then start time and end time and then hotels and I was just like, whoa,
Yep.
that's that's a little bit, but it does sound
Yeah,
like a
it is
fun.
for sure.
And
Is
I
yeah, well, luckily it's only like an hour from Savannah, so you got to make it like a Savannah weekend trip.
Oh darn, that's terrible. What would I ever do? Yeah, no, Savannah's
Right.
a lovely city. And
It is.
I was going to say, it's been too long since I've been there, since the last time. But let me ask you, for going back to your expansion of your book series,
Yeah.
what can you tell us between book one and book two that is not, I
Sure.
don't know how to do this, that's not a spoiler, but is a
Yeah.
teaser of said book?
Yeah. Yeah. So book one's tagline is the elves on a tank, or like bookmarks say, God elves on a tank is what my bookmarks say, right? Because that once you have the book, you do now. Book two's tagline is this time with dragons. So there are draconic beings in this one. The biggest teaser for it that's had, I think, the most gotten the people the most excited is we get an orc POV in this one, and her name is Akko. And the way I've described her is she is an orc muscle mommy with religious trauma.
Okay.
And that usually gets people pretty invested pretty quick. They're like, "Oh, okay." I think she's going to be a fan favorite. She's an orc, a big buff orc lady with a Tennessee accent trying to break out of a cult.
Okay. I like that.
Right? It's out of left field, but it gets people's brains operating.
Now, for anybody who listens to this, and again, if I am able to,
Yeah.
the platform's usually nice, sometimes it's not, so I'll try to repurpose this on my YouTube channel at a later date. For anybody who doesn't know your first book, explain its premise, like a little more than just your.
Elves on a tank, right? The actual story and plot and whatnot. Sure. So the basic concept is 10,000 years ago, our world was magical, right? And magical beings and creatures and elves and orcs and all the things from lore and legend and stuff existed in our world, but they removed themselves in order to avoid a flood. The time passes, something went wrong with the spell. They returned to our world in a cataclysmic event called the Shattering, and humanity is brought to the brink of extinction. So now, in the wake of their return, humanity is trying to pick up the pieces and figure out how to survive in a world that's now overrun with magic and monsters, find allies, figure out which ones are friendly, which ones are foes. And while all this is happening, you've got 3 POVs. Our main one is Captain Peter Blair, who's a former military operative who's given a cursed sword that whenever he uses it, he sees a little drow in his dreams who says, keep using the sword when nothing will go wrong.
Okay. That's not ominous.
Right? Yeah. Jadis, who may or may not be a manifestation of his PTSD. You have to read to find out. Then you got Sarah Young, who is a former journalism student who discovers that she has magic while fighting a basilisk. And then you got Sean Castillo, who is a young kid who just kind of gets grabbed by the mercenary crew, and they just drag him along. She's like, we got to keep you alive. We're going to train you, prepare you for this world. So he's sort of our more everyman kind of third tertiary protagonist who's along for the ride and growing up in this new world.
I like that. And that's the thing is, like, there is going to be such a difference between people who are thrown in something that, as you said, cataclysmic, that life-changing at a later age than having a young teen or a tween, and how they adapt. And then the next generation, how they adapt. And when you see a lot of post-apocalyptic again, yours is kind of, it reminds me a little bit of post-apocalyptic, but it's fantasy, because it's like what happens when fantasy worlds and the fantasy concepts invade what we know as our world in reality, and the rules that apply no longer apply. And so it's going from like the concepts of a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff. I mean, more on the horror side, but you had Walking Dead, and they did play with the concept of how do kids react growing up in a world where zombies are a thing, versus the adults who are like, I remember this wasn't always the case. So for your series, how long are you planning to, how many books do you think you two are going to write for the series, and how many years, what's the time frame is that going to encompass? compass. There. Oh my goodness, I am tired.
I got you. I'm chewing caffeine gum right now, so I'm also like, whew. It's been a day. Yeah. So the Galvorn Saga is the first main trilogy. So there's going to be 3 books in the main trilogy, which is the Galvorn Saga, which is like Peter's story and the story of Paragon at the beginning of this apocalypse. So that's the main trilogy is going to be 3. My co-author Dave is writing a spin-off Southern Gothic horror novella about some characters in book 1 who disappear and what happens to them. That is inspired by the Odyssey. That's just it's called Paragon Odyssey, and it's a ton of fun. It's very different from what we've done. It leans much more into the horror and like Southern Gothic vibes and stuff, but it's a continuation of that world. It's a branching out of that world. And then we got Paragon Apocrypha, which is just a collection of random different genres of short stories. And then we're going to theme we're going to try and do an Apocrypha between each major release.
Ooh, neat.
And we're going to theme them by location. So the second Apocrypha, all the short stories are going to take place in Alabama.
Okay.
Take places from there. So there's 3 main books and then spin-offs. And then we have a follow-up series that would take place probably 20 years after the Galvorn Saga, which we have ideas for and concepts for. And then we have another concept series for like 100 years later and see how the world changes and evolves. So we've got things going off in all directions. We're even doing a board game that we've been working on and playtesting and stuff. And then I've got a secret project, which is completely different, which I'll tell you a little bit about if you want to hear it.
Of course.
It's essentially the Bartender's Guide to the Apocalypse. Workshopping a title. It'll be a Kickstarter project, but essentially it will be a cocktail recipe book that we're going to make cocktails, and then we're going to hire a different artist for each cocktail and have the artist recreate a magical rendition of what it would look like if it was like a fantasy version of the cocktail. And then we're going to have like alternative recipe ingredients that are like fantasy recipe ingredients. And so it's going to be this compilation of like 30 different art pieces and drink mixtures and stuff with a fantasy overtone, apocalypse overtone. That's going to go to Kickstarter and stuff. And I've already gotten, I think, 25 artists on board for that, which, of course, it's going to require a Kickstarter. Fantastic drinks and where to pour them. See, that's good. Like that's good. We're, like I said, we're workshopping titles and stuff, but it's going to be a celebration of humanity and the senses, and like the whole anti-AI thing is human written, human artist, human taste, sight, sound. We're trying to incorporate as many elements of that as we can and just celebrate humanity in a big way.
I love that. No, I was going to say, that's the thing about doing some of those campaigns is it can help artists be able to expand in ways they never thought of before. For this, this kind of cocktail book, but then like board games and as I've seen TTRPG spin-offs, and there's so many different ways to make it work and make it very exciting. So that is kind of neat. So actually, based on the author I talked to last week, I thought this was a fun one. Do you have a playlist that you listen to either to get you in the mood or while you're writing? I can't listen to music while I write, but I have some for like getting myself in that headspace that are like, this is the the Apocrypha playlist. This is
right. I take that to I have a focus playlist for when I'm writing. So I have music that gets me in the zone and stuff, but we also have a playlist for each book in the main series that Dave and I, one of our exercises is when we finish a chapter, we share music back and forth until we figure out a song we feel encapsulates that chapter's vibe. And so there's a variety of different tastes and musical preferences with those, but each of our books comes with a recommended Spotify playlist QR link at the beginning. So it's matched up to each chapter according to what we felt like matched the tune of the chapter. And we actually hired a composer a couple years ago to compose a theme for the series. That's the Paragon Exordium theme, which is a 3-minute full orchestral musical theme that people can listen to.
Ooh, that is fancy. Now, I was going to say, I have a few playlists for some of my earlier series that I have that, got me into the vibe. And so on my YouTube channel, I have that. And I have a couple playlists that I've done, that I've released, through Spotify for various fans, for stuff like the book I'm about to do my campaign for, which is my Greek myth retelling. I have a playlist that is, what if the main character, and of course I'm writing a retelling of Greek myth set in ancient Greece, But I was like, what if she was a modern day person? What would she listen to? So I collected all these kind of
Nice.
music and different kind of songs that focus on characters or creatures out of Greek myth. And I was like, ha ha ha, this is so much
Very
fun.
nice. Oh yeah, it's great, and it's such a neat exercise. Like, and especially with Dave and I's processing, going back and forth. Like, I think this one, I think this one, and it can vary so much what we're picking for that song because it can either be lyrical or the musical instruments in it or whatnot. So it's a really fun way to stretch our brains
Oh, yeah.
and give the readers a little something extra.
Oh, yeah. So with all these projects in mind, obviously book two, and then you're going to work on the second group of Apocrypha, I guess because you're basing that one out of Alabama, do you know all the locations yet? Or are you still coming up with like, oh, this short story is going to be based out of here, and this short story is going to be based out here?
We've got like half of them. That was Dave pitched that to me like last weekend. Because like we gotta like I was making a list of stuff and he was like, oh, by the way, the next one it's all Alabama. I was like, oh, okay, I guess. And then he sends me a document with like an outline of his like 7 ideas for it. So he's got the locations pretty much already figured out for a lot of them.
That's so much fun. I was gonna say that's a lot of fun. I do always those second world with one exception. Everything else I've ever read is second world fantasy, so anything that's not on Earth. And so I miss out on sometimes that fun stuff where it's like, oh, you can do, locations, and oh, you can,
right.
I love the idea where people offer, in various campaigns or something of you can name a character, and I'm like, I would do that, but I'm a second world author, and if someone says like Fred Fredrickson, it's not going to fit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then we had the unique advantage of that with our Kickstarter. I put a clause in there though, like you can help name a character pending author approval. So we got to workshop something. But yeah, it being our world, it's a lot easier to put John in there than it would be otherwise.
That is true. So I was going to say, I was going to ask if you've ever done that before. So it sounds like you have allowed people to name some characters, which is pretty neat. I bet they're tickled to death that they gotta help be part of your creative process. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, workshop names. I love that. But yeah, I was gonna say, so what has been your favorite part of your writing journey now that you're not new to this by any stretch of the imagination? Right. And so what has been like either your favorite part or some of your highlights so far?
Yeah. I mean, as of today, it's been 3 years since we published our debut. And you are like the first person who ever had us on a live and stuff. So this is really secular. It's great. Highlight, probably the panel at Dragon Con I did is probably a major highlight, which again, your involvement, look at you. I love doing in-person events a lot. And this year I've done a bunch more than I had previously. And one of the things I started doing them last year, and one of the things I really like to do is I have a first edition copy of my book that I take to all my events now, and whenever someone gets a signed copy from me, they get to sign it.
Yes, I remember.
So that's really special and a way to connect with people. And if they've read it already, they get to sign like their favorite part, which makes it extra special. Or if you're an author now, you get to sign a special pen and things like that. It's actually with a rebinder right now because it was a paperback, so I'm getting it rebound and like having someone do a fancy cover for it, so it can be even more special for in-person events. But I love meeting people and telling them directly about it and trying to find ways to connect it to them, which is a lot easier to get people interested in the book in person than it is over videos online.
Oh yeah, and I love that idea and I remember you carrying that book around, and at some point you're going to get to the point where it's like, where do people sign? Because you're going to meet enough people.
Right, yeah, and that's something I've adjusted because it used to be I would tell people, like, sign your favorite page if you haven't read the book, like, what's your favorite number between what and what? Now I'm trying to get a signature on every page, so that once I have a signature on all 740 pages, I can retire that one and do the next one.
Ah, okay. Fun. I like that. And as we were talking about events, and I know I saw you doing a shout out asking for events. So if anybody in here is listening and you have recommendations of live events for authors to attend or just favorite bookish events, let us know because we're always looking for new things. But yeah, because I mean, you and I have been to Dragon before, and at least in Georgia, as far as I know, that is the big big one.
Yeah.
There are a variety of other events ranging all shapes and sizes, but always kind of fun to learn some new ones. So, there you go, Necronomicon in Tampa. That sounds cool.
That's good. That's pretty good.
I like that name. I'm actually going to write that one down because I actually know some people in Tampa. Hold on. I like this.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, we do have plans for Florida, the Florida Isles in our world.
Ooh.
A collection of islands with a pirate queen.
I like that. Tropicon, Pensacola. See, all those Florida ones. I was gonna say I actually had not done that one too. I'm gonna make my notes. See, this is why I have my pen. Can't make any promises, but I do like to add stuff to my list of. I'm aware.
Of course. I'm doing WasabiCon in Florida in Jacksonville in October.
Fun. WasabiCon. Wait, okay. Please tell me wasabi is involved in this.
I think there's wasabi in the logo. The logo's a dragon.
What?
But it's like a green dragon. Maybe he's got wasabi around him.
Okay, I was like, that is such an interesting name for a con. But there are so many out there that you're always learning from, and like different fests and everything. And so I'm always taking notes and stuff. I've heard Con Carolinas is a good one to attend to if you are, interested in traveling. That's on my radar in the near future. And oh my goodness, I'm trying to psych myself up. And our mutual friend Atlas, he travels and was talking about it. But the was it BookCon in New York?
Oh, in New York.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's up there right now. And I'm like, do I want to do I want to apply for next? Wait, do I want?
I mean, their indie author alley was only like $300, I think, which is super reasonable.
Yeah.
But it's like, for me, I don't know about for you. For me, it's a 12-hour drive, and that's where it's gonna like eat up things. But I was like, that's really tempting.
Only 12 hours.
Only 12 hours, But it's a big. They had 25,000 people last year, and those were all voracious readers.
Yes.
So it's like, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do bigger ones. I want to get into Dragon Con eventually. I think now that I've got more under my belt, it'll be maybe easier. It's never easy to get in Dragon Con.
No, and that's the thing is, it's one thing is you have to have, one, the books, and two, what's your experience. So now that you're even hosting events, and so far your first one was very, very, very successful, and hopefully this next one is that's coming up, those will hopefully help you. And if you don't know, check out Seska Small here on Booktop because she.
I've been following her religiously.
Yeah. Let's throw you. Introduce yourself. She's always looking for new people. Not that she's in the accepting part of it, but if she knows you, it never hurts because she works on that side. But I see a bunch of other ones. Saga, I did do that one this spring in North Carolina. Spooky Frog in Wisconsin. Legends and Lore. And Akron, that's one, I like the name. Invade Dragon Con. Yes. I do like it.
That's the thing with Dragon Con, with it being a fantasy themed con in Atlanta. That's like the perfect grounds for my series.
I love that.
It would be, we would do so well there. It's crazy.
Yeah, and other ones I know on my side, and then we'll go back and talk about books and not just all the events, but in the area, Jordan, I know you asked about that one, so I do.
Yep.
That one's a good one.
To do Jordan Con next year.
And on the smaller side, there's Multiverse that's in Peachtree City in October that I really like. I think that's a very charming one. But there's so many. You can bracket down and down and down. Compossible for those fans of steampunk predominantly, but there are other ones. There are so many out there. RavenCon. But yes, so many out there. And for anybody who's listening, there are different types of events. Some of them, like conventions, can be multi-themed, and so they usually have lots of different what they call tracks. They could, depending on Dragon Con, you have tracks for pretty much anything, and you have sci-fi, fantasy, probably, anything you could think of, they probably have a track for somehow. And you bracket down to some of these smaller ones that are a little more niche, and some of them maybe are just books, and some of them or maybe on the writing side of things versus just the selling. So they're all different kind of events. So if you are a person who's never attended one, I highly recommend see what's in your area and check some out. because you never know who you can meet, and it may be one of us.
It might be. There's always that chance.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. And so that's always kind of fun. And I love the fact, again, that you have your launch coming up. And I have to always repeat it. I have to repeat it. And so make sure everybody hears your launch is coming up next month.
June 27th.
Yay! So
June 27th launch party, and the official release is the 30th.
Ooh, I like that. For your main series, who is your? I hate to ask this. I know I probably did this last time. I'm so sorry. Who is your favorite character?
Yeah, no, I mean it's a tricky question.
It's a terrible question.
I think it's hard to answer because like I love so many other characters. I think it varies per book.
Uh-huh.
In book 1, it's Jadis, just because she's such an interesting character to write, and there's so much more going on with her than we get to know, and sort of the perspectives with her as Peter interacts with her. That's the being he sees whenever he uses his sword. So in book 1, it's Jadis. In Apocrypha, it's Manny, who I did the short story narration for, and Manny is he's half centaur, half mermaid, and he's the mayor of a town in Ohio. But he has only the human parts from both his parents. And so that's a really fun character to embody and write. Because he's a little weird. He's more than a little weird. He's a lot weird, but it's a fun... When I tell people, like, there's a short story about a centaur and a mermaid who had a kid, and the kid only got the human parts, and that's like the whole point of the story, is him coping with being human.
Yeah, I'm not human, but you look human. But I'm not.
Not everyone knows he's not. Even though he looks like it. And then for attrition, that's really hard. It's probably Echo, the orc. Just because she's so different from the other ones. And she's going to be the fan favorite. I think people are just going to absolutely love her character.
Well, I think there's been a trend based on, the areas of the book verse that I've hung out, that people really like seeing orcs as protagonists. And that's something that, when I ask questions that somehow kind of relate to that, there's always someone that I know that's like, I want to see, the nicer side of orcs and not always being vilified and all that kind of stuff. So I do think, one, you already have that. And then two, everything else about her adds different layers to her. So I think even though I haven't read it yet, I think that one's going to have like a good possibility to being a fan favorite.
I know. I was surprised by how many people loved Shadowfang, the basilisk from book 1. That's mostly due to my narrator's incredible work as a giant snake. But I think I'll be less caught off guard with Echo's popularity. But, there's always going to be that character you don't expect people to love that they're all going to just be rabid for.
Mm-hmm. Now, you, I know, have some fantastic character art for some of your characters from book 1. Do you have character art for your characters in book 2 yet? And then if so, where can people see them, or how can they get a hand on one of them?
Yeah, we've got character art. We did a lot of character art for the Kickstarter. So there's some extra character art for that. We have art of Echo that was done by Steve Sketches, which is technically fan art of her from before the book's even released, so that's cool. All our art is on our website, melwasul.com.
Nice.
We have the primary antagonist, Narcidian Kothari, who is a sort of drow-esque figure. I got Gamma Trap? Gamma Trap did some art of him. That's also on my website and stuff, so I need to make some content with that. And then we have some fan art from one of our beta readers who drew Aethon the Malfeasant, who is a dragon.
Ooh, I love
that is in the book and on our website.
I love it. Well, I was going to say, it is so much fun. I don't know, I always chastise myself, why did I wait so long to start getting into character art, outside the fact that, yes, it is expensive, and you have to do the, XMLs and all that kind of stuff. But on the plus side, when you have it, it's so nice to be able, one, to use as reference, and two, there are people who just love it. To counter, there are definitely people who don't like it because they want to imagine, how they want to imagine the person. Right. So that is always an interesting debate I hear about readership. Should you or should you not see what the character looks like, at least in the author's mind and how they interpret, or will that ruin your experience? So interesting things.
Yeah, I think there's fair debate around that, but I mean, ultimately, I decide what they look like. I'm right, you're wrong. Sorry, reader.
Well, I
You
feel
can imagine them however you want.
I feel like that's for me in pronunciation. That's why I like more often than not stick pronunciation guides in the back, because if someone comes out in what was the one that so many people was like Hermione. I can't remember what it was, like Hermione or
Right.
whatever it was that like
Right.
I had thought it was, and then the movies came out and you're like, oh wait, that's how you say it. But for me as an author,
that, though.
huh? So what?
I love hearing. So I don't have pronunciation guides in my book. In the special edition, we do, but for the standard one, I don't, because I like hearing how people pronounce it outside of like the audiobook official enunciations, because it makes me feel like I've come along. It makes me feel successful.
Ah, interesting.
Right? Because hearing how, like, growing up reading Aragon and then talk about characters in Aragon to someone else who's read it and hearing them pronounce it different ways, it's like, oh, so we don't all pronounce it the same way. It makes me feel like a variety of people have read my work if they're pronouncing my character names differently. So it's sort of like a cheat on my end. Or I'm like, I want to hear how you think it's pronounced, because that's fun. And I'll tell you if you want, but like, you've got your image of this character that you've shaped up. In the same way with character art, I don't want to tell you how to pronounce these things necessarily. If you want to listen to the audiobook, you can, and then you'll know the technical where, except for the dog, because he mispronounced the dog's name, which is a whole thing.
Hey, it's okay. There's
I think it's neat.
Yeah, for my Viking dark fantasy series, because the narrator is British, there was a lot of British English versus American English pronunciation differences. And at some point, when early on, when we were trying to debate different names, he was pronouncing one of my main characters a little differently, and I was going to correct him, and I paused, and I was like, you know what? I like this. We're going to roll with it. That's not exactly what I intended it to be, but you know what? It sounds neat. We're going to go.
Yeah. I've got two similar experiences with our dog. Hawk is how he's pronounced in the book, because that's the German pronunciation of the word, and it's a Belgian Malinois, but his name is Hotch. So there's actually a joke in the book where someone corrects his pronunciation, and so when I was reviewing the audiobook, I was like, okay, you're doing this wrong, but keep it, and when you get to the joke, pronounce it the correct way. So it's an inversion of the joke in the audiobook, which is so funny to me. And then the one thing I didn't have him correct, which I should have because I didn't realize how sensitive Georgians would be about it, is he mispronounces Macon because he's Irish.
Oh, no.
And I've gotten some. It's mentioned in like 4 or 5 different reviews that the narrator's great, but he doesn't know how to say Macon.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And again, when you're using real names, unfortunately, you have to like pronounce it the right way that the locals pronounce it, or else it's going to be caught. Be like, you're not local, because I know when living in New Orleans, there are so many street names and place names that if you weren't local, there's a good chance you're going to mispronounce or just stare at the word cross-eyed and be like, "What is that street called?" I'm like, it's okay, guys. If you're panicked and it starts with a T, I know which street you're on. I can find you. Yeah. So it's fun. Yeah, I was going to say, there are definitely things that, I've said this repeatedly, that one of my goals as an author, one of these kind of wins, little wins that like I give myself gold star, would be if I walk at an event or something and see someone cosplaying as one of my characters. That would be cool. That's one of those things. So my question for you is, if you cosplayed as one of your characters, who would you choose and why?
Oh man, that's it gets trickier the older I get, right? I'm not in good enough shape to cosplay Peter. I'm bald now. He's got hair, so there's a little difference there.
The wigs are for
or something. Right. I mean, Peter's my go-to just because of like his outfit and everything. He feels the most connected to me. So that would probably be it. But if I could get like a professional makeup artist or something, I would do the Weeping King, who's an orc warlock, because that would be fun to dress up like an orc warlock. I think it would be cool if I had like a professional makeup artist. That
would be really neat. I like that. Yeah. The Weeping King. Okay. Oh, make note of that. I am not a professional cosplayer or anything, but I do like costume. And I love to invert concepts. So those are always kind of fun. But that's, again, those little goals. Like, do you have just one of those fun random goals as an author that you're like, here's one of my personal goals that people may not expect, but it's what I want.
Right. Yeah. I mean, every author wants to see their work adapted onto film
Mhm.
in one way or another. For me, I would love to see it adapted in like a Castlevania style
Ooh,
animation. I would
yes.
much prefer animation to live action for my
Mhm.
series. I'll tell you what makes it weird. This is a good answer because I want to do like a movie series or animated series, but I want to start it with a sort of John Wick Black Ops film about the S&W or like the Black Ops dudes from the book,
Mhm.
and have it be these characters before the sky breaks, and it's just like a standard Black Ops action movie that ends like the very last scene is the sky breaking, and no one knows who these characters are because they're going to use code names the whole movie until like the very last 5 minutes. And then if you've read the book, you go, "Oh my god, it's the characters from this fantasy series that we're launching into." Because I remember watching Split for the first time in theaters,
Mhm.
and it was secretly a sequel to Unbreakable by M. Night
Yep.
Shyamalan, which came out 20 years ago. And I was the only person in the theater who had any idea of what was going on. I was like, "Oh my god, this is a secret sequel." So to be able to capture and encapsulate that moment and do a cool prequel-esque Black Ops action movie that sets up these characters for the next fantasy series, I think
Yes.
would be a really cool way to like stealth introduce it.
Ooh, I like that. I have not heard that one
So it's a
before. I like it.
yeah, it's out there. It's out there, but it would be so fun.
I like that. I approve. Stamp of approval.
Awesome, thank you. Put you on
So,
the producing credits.
yes. Oh man, too much fun. But okay, since the hour is gonna start speeding on by, and that's always my regular questions I ask every time. You maybe remember some of them. I ask them just again if I'm able to repurpose this. People can find your contact information down below. But for those here now, and for the future, outside of Book Talk, where else do you like to hub? Do you have a website, newsletter, any other social
Yeah.
kind of thing?
Yep, I've got a newsletter on Substack, melwasul.com, Melwasul is our website, which has links to all of our good stuff, signed copies and everything. Our special edition from Kickstarter will be available through that and events once that gets here, once we actually order them and stuff. I'm on Instagram. I'm everywhere as Michael Melwasul. I'm on all the platforms. I'm most active here in Instagram. And I do have a newsletter, which is the best way to follow me because, of course, if anything goes down, that will continue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, melwasul.com should persist for eternity, hopefully.
Eternity. I love it. And where can people get your books at the moment, and what formats are they available? Because I know you have your collection and your book one at the moment.
Yep, book one is available in all formats. The audiobook is Audible exclusive. Paragon of Tradition or Short Story Collection is available in all formats. The audiobook is not Audible exclusive, but it's the only place it is right now. So any day now, it'll be not exclusive.
Yay! We're gonna hope that. We're gonna cross that.
And then Paragon Attrition Book 2 is currently available for pre-order in ebook format only. We will have physical copies as soon as we're done formatting them. That should be available for pre-order within the next couple weeks. And then the audiobook will hopefully be releasing in September. Our narrator is supposed to start narrating that, working on that in June.
Nice. And for your ebooks slash physical copies, outside of your and the Zon, are they available anywhere else, or are they just between those two places right now?
Apocrypha is wide. Exordium is on Kindle Unlimited, so it is not wide. It is exclusive in ebook format to Kindle Unlimited, but we'll see how much longer that lasts.
I will even say I had all my ebooks through Unlimited for a long, long time, and personal eating, just everybody has to choose what's right for them, and there are reasons to stay in it, but I pulled all mine just to take them wide. It did hit me financially because I lose all the KU readers, but on the other hand, I like the idea of not putting all my eggs in one basket. Plus, now I can sell them direct from my own shop too, so there are, things you can do, but everybody has to figure out what's right for them when it comes to publishing. So what works for one person may not work for another.
Yeah, and it can always change.
Yeah, and also let me ask you, this is a great time to is there any topic you wanted to cover that we haven't covered so far, or any questions you wanted to ask that we haven't asked, any announcements? Since we do have 50 more minutes, I just want to make sure we had enough time, because sometimes I always forget until like the last 2 minutes. I'm like, oh no!
No, you're good. I appreciate that. When are my omnibuses getting here?
Okay, they just
I'm just kidding, of course
physically landed in my driveway
Nice.
yesterday. So I'm about
Excellent.
to post. This is for my campaign that I ran last year. My special edition stuff.
Goodness.
So they finally did that. So I spent half the afternoon bringing in boxes, unpacking them, organizing them, and tomorrow I'm going to like massage my hands and then like start like signing book after book after book. It'll be ridiculous. But yeah, so I was going to make that announcement tomorrow for everybody who backed it. But yes, special editions.
Nice.
And for those who like campaigns, my next campaign is in pre-launch, and that's for my retelling of Greek myth, aimed with the whole group of characters and heroes that lived about a generation to a generation and a half prior to the Trojan War. So we're talking about Heracles, Jason and the Argonauts, Orpheus, my main character, Atalanta, and a bunch of others that existed and all knew each other in weird ways right before what people know as the Trojan War and the Odyssey and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Very cool.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing, is to be aware when you run campaigns and to make sure you plan enough buffer time, because even though you're like, oh, I have the book ready. Oh, you know, it's already formatted. Oh, I have all the things. And then you do something and it still takes a long time to come and all that stuff. And for me, I don't know who you're getting your special editions through. I was ordering them through an international company, and customs sat on those books here in the US for the better part of the month. And I was just like, you gotta let me have my books, please. They're just books, please.
Right. Yeah. They're just books. What do you want from me? Yeah.
Please.
No, that's crazy.
Please.
Yeah. I said it's like I gave myself a full year and then some, because I was like, I'm just gonna tell people it'll be over a year.
Yeah.
And then when I get them to them sooner, they're all happy.
Yes.
You
And
know,
I'll be like,
rather-
I'm going to be right at that threshold, because I think I said by the end of May, so it's probably going to arrive at the beginning of June. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I think most people are pretty forgiving when it comes to these kind of projects anyway.
Yeah, as long as you have open communication. I was waiting to like
Yeah, sure.
make another post until I knew more, and I'm like, oh, good, I have them now. That's great.
Yeah,
I can show you pictures of them all over my dining room. I have them.
Right. How many did you end up getting?
Oh, it was close to, oh, shoot. I don't remember if it was like between 300 and 400 books.
Nice.
Yeah, but I also had like, what I did was I had 2 books, the 2 omnibuses, and both the special edition as well as the alternative paperback. So people had choices, and so some people got all 4, and some people only did 1 of one kind. So that's why I have so many. Plus, I had a few extras ordered just so I can add on my own shop.
Sure. Yeah. Have them for events. Have them as back.
Exactly, because everybody likes the sparkly, shiny, pretty books and all that kind of stuff. Do you have an example? Yeah. Did you have a? Did you get a proof of your special shiny yet? Okay, I wasn't sure where you were, so that's why I just wasn't.
Nope, I still don't have a proof. I didn't have a proof to get. I had like mock-ups.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I meant, like a mock-up or something.
Yeah, I had mock-ups online and stuff, but I didn't have any physical ones. It just didn't. I couldn't get the interior format. I should have just gotten like a base of like the cover and stuff, which for future campaigns I've adjusted and I've learned.
Yes,
I definitely want to have some stuff to show off at the beginning. I think it'll help a lot with getting the notoriety out there. So like with the cocktail book, I'm gonna get like 5 pieces of art and the cover done before I launch the Kickstarter. Because it's like something I can afford. Because like 30 artists, I'm not actually going to be able to do the thing until it's done. Like a campaign.
Oh yeah, no.
I want to have physical things to show people. Like, hey, yeah, this is what we're going for. So lesson learned there. I have a printer. I've been emailing him back and forth. We just got to get the final pieces of interior art done so we can start getting samples and stuff. Yeah.
I was gonna say there's so many components when you're doing, well, any book in general, but then adding the level of special editions, and it's a different animal, and so. I know better now to budget a little bit more, because for, again, the physical proofs, because I was really close the first time, but then something wasn't right. And then the second time, everything was right except one book. This one came in like more of a pink color than a red. And I was like, I don't really want it to be pink. That wasn't the vibe I was going for my Dark Viking fantasy. No offense. And the funny thing, my husband's like, I love that one. I was like, hey, it's yours. You can have the one pink one.
I have the special exclusive one.
the one of one. You got it.
There you go.
I do like that. But then again, live and learn. There's so many things to learn as an author and so many things to try. And I have so many questions for future things. Like, I want to know where people get those reversible dust covers printed. That's what I want to know.
I can send my printer's doing one of those.
I would love to know. Yeah, that one is where I want to know. And then the fancy, what do you call it? I'll show you because I backed one of my friends because I should ask him where he got it. The ones where they have like the hidden. Yeah, I want to know.
I want to know how he does that so affordably too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I need to ask him. I need to be like, can I ask you one other question? Unless this is like a secret, but I've seen like 4 authors do it. You're just the one I know. I was like, we need to get that done.
Brady's chill. He's usually super cool about answering questions.
Oh yeah,
he's a good guy.
He is a great guy. He's definitely a great guy. I had a crises where I was trying to get my books out of customs, and I was like, how do I do this? And he was like, yeah, I don't. He doesn't fulfill himself. He's like, I can't help you. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, well, thank you for answering.
Oh no. Yeah.
Thank you. You were my friend. Anywho, but okay. So let's go back to your book series since we've been rambling about the author side of things for a little while. Back to your book series. So, what is your favorite creature, character, non-human creature or character outside of your POV characters in any book of or any story of your series?
Which is I have so many.
I
have so many
Making
creatures.
You choose.
That's really tricky.
I'm sorry.
It might be the Drite. There's what I call Drites. They're essentially like dragon pixies. So they're like little cat-sized dragons that I call Drites. It's a dragon sprite. So there's one named Annabelle, and I love writing. Annabelle's adorable, and having a little cat-sized dragon that's more of an animal level of intelligence and stuff is really fun. I like writing.
I love that. I was just writing my own version of that, but I call them pygmy dragons. And again, it's like they're not actually dragons; they just look like dragons, but they can perch on your shoulder. Because I'm about to finish my work in progress, which is a progression style high fantasy. That's very D&D-esque. So my character is getting essentially a familiar, and it's a pygmy dragon. And I was just like, that was me this morning before the book order came in. I was like,
right.
Again, I love dragons. So Drite is fun. I like that. And are they a whole number of them, or is there like one that's like a particular one of the Drites that you like? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's only one in this book. It's a little Drite is like the personal pet of a young elf girl.
Yeah.
So Annabelle and Est. But I mean, book 2 we do a lot more fun, crazy creatures because like book 1's very much the world building and stuff. So one of the fun things about book 2 has been we get to like really get into the fantasy elements of it, like dive deep. Like there's an entire POV that's just like an elvish kingdom. So I've got unicorns. I've got Drite, I've got Skithy, which are like these jaguar antlered creatures I came up with.
Fun.
And then we've got dragons, and there's a griffin named Shasta, who's more of like not a lion griffin, more of a snow leopard kind of griffin and stuff.
Pretty.
And Shasta's a lot of fun. He's a fun character to play with. So yeah, and then there's like a skinwalker too. Creature that's like hunting some people. That's really fun.
I like that. I feel like by the time your series is wrapping up, you could also add a bestiary or bestiary, as my husband calls them.
That is a goal. Absolutely a goal. Definitely something I want to do.
I love that. Yeah, for the work in progress I'm working on, because I've been wanting to do this for a while. This kind of, again, this very D&D, long-term Witcher meets D&D, a vibe series. For the last 3 years, one of my readers group, every year they helped co-create a monster for this series. So this first book got to feature all 3 characters from the first 3 rounds of this. And so moving forward, we'll start working on creatures for the next book of the series. But it is kind of fun because I actually have a character she's essentially an autistic orc, and her goal is to create a bestiary. And so I'm wondering if I could like come up with like just fun sketches of like lost pages from her book, and of some of the creatures that appear in the stories. It'd be kind of fun. things. Again, expansions to
Absolutely.
your world that you create.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
outside of that, is there any other off the wall things that you would want to do to help expand, again, different kind of tactile or visual or sensorial things for your world?
I mean, yeah, and this was like an ultimate goal on the Kickstarter that we didn't get, but we'll hopefully get on a future one. Is I want to get the sword Galvorn, which is this black sword. I want to get it actually forged. Um, I have like a price breakdown on that and everything, and so I have a blacksmith I would want to work with that would be able to like actually create it, and it would be a business expense because it'd be used for advertising and stuff. It's got to have enough to justify it. But yeah, that's a goal is get my sword actually made.
That would
I've got like a model of it I wear around to events and stuff, but like a physical one would be really cool.
Oh, that'd be fun. I wonder. Well, it's not necessarily cheap. I actually don't know. I'm not. I am not the person to create something for 3D printing, but like to have someone like come up with a 3D printed because that not being metal might be lighter to travel with. On the other hand, there may be a risk.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I've never thought about 3D printing a full
got one
sword.
that's a cold steel, like a plastic one.
Ah.
That I got a cold steel of it because it's a black sword. And so we 3D printed the pommel. We designed and 3D printed the pommel and swapped out the pommel and then put some leather on it and did some painting and stuff. So it's a close replica that's fine for cons and safety, and it's light enough to carry around and stuff. But it would just be a lot cooler to have an actual physical metal one day on the wall and stuff.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, who doesn't want to have their own armory?
Right? Yeah.
Fantasy weapon armory of their own stuff. That would be definitely neat. I love that. I actually do. I love that. Oh gosh, I lost my train of thought again. Been a long day. It's okay. It's fine.
I understand.
We're fine.
Good.
So, since we're towards the end of the hour, one more time for your book launch / book fest coming up in Statesboro. How many authors are you trying to get together with? What are some of the other genres so people have an idea of like the breadth of the people coming?
Sure. June 27th, we should have about 8 authors, 8 vendors. So it's going to be inside only for the authors and the artists, and then outside we're trying to get an axe throwing truck out there, as well as a local vintage clothing market. So the outside vibe will be a little different from the inside vibe. We've got one artist who does all kinds of fan art, from Miyazaki to any type of anime to Lord of the Rings. I'm trying to make it more thematic with the authors there to similar things to my series. So I'm aiming more for fantasy or books set in the South. For this one, for the December one, it'll be more loosey-goosey, whatever. But I am focusing on trying to have more fantasy or Southern sort of style for this one, because it's a smaller grouping. It's like 8 people as opposed to like 12.
Oh, yeah.
So most of those spots are booked. So we have room for maybe 1 or 2 more if we have some cancellations and stuff. So if anyone is interested in applying, I recommend doing that sooner than later, because we're going to start announcing the authors very soon.
That is neat. And yeah, I was going to say, having maybe that's what you should do going forward as you continue to do these events, is every other one have like maybe a small theme, and then have the free for all one, and then that kind of changes things up, because what you want is to encourage repeat people to come, and having like a little bit of a change each time, so it's not 100% of the same thing, but also have a promise of them reading a book, falling in love with it, coming back, and getting book 2,
Yeah, very much so. And we had, at this last one, we had someone come through, our first customer of the day, bought every single book.
I love it.
She got to my table and she had a stack of like 20 books and said, "Give me both of them."
I like that. See, we love people like that. There is we call him he has a name, but like we call him the Book Santa, and at a couple of events, one of which is Multiverse, another one is Jordan Con. If he goes to those events, he buys one of every book from every book vendor there. We don't know what he does with these books, but every time he comes back, he gets one of every book from every book vendor that's there.
That's awesome.
And we call him Book Santa because it's Christmas for us. And I'm like, I hope the books go to some happy people. I don't know, stocking free little libraries. I don't care,
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, and this will be this is a random last question. I know it's terrible. It's not really terrible.
Cool.
So What do you do with your dinged and dented copies? Reason being is I'm in my office, I'm looking. These are not, thankfully, not the special editions that came in as of yet. Everything I saw looked great. Perfect. Wonderful.
Excellent.
But in general, usually when authors get a bunch of books, for anybody who doesn't know, at least a portion of them come in with some kind of marrings, scratches on the cover, crumpled pages, weird printing, these kind of things. What do authors do with them? Because I want them to go to good homes. They're readable,
Sure.
but they're just maybe not the prettiest book. So what do you do
I
with your
off-
ding?
I usually try and offer them at like a slight discount at my
Mm-hmm.
table when I do in-person events. Like, hey, if you want a slightly discounted one, this one's got a tiny bit of damage or something. One thing I'm going to start doing, I've got this copy which has got like water damage and stuff,
Okay.
and so what I'm going to start doing is when I'm at events, I'm going to ask people if they want a sample, and then tear out a page of this and give it to them.
Oh God. Ah! You just did
Gotcha.
that. That makes me. Ah! That was like one of my majors in college was art, and there was one where we did mixed media, and one of the assignments was
Yeah.
to buy a book, and then we were going to do different things to each page of the book, tearing and cutting and painting and gluing. And that was like the most nightmare section of my art experience to date. I mean, the book looks pretty cool. It's probably somewhere, who knows? But like, it just was
Right.
like, I'm ruining a book, and it just hurt me.
Yeah, I mean, this one's water. Like, this is not like
Oh, yeah.
it's super water damage stuff. But I'm hoping the reaction I can get from people of just tearing a piece out will be enough to break any kind of ice to like get them interested in listening to and buying a separate copy. If I don't make them angry enough to throw something at me.
Yeah, be careful. They're definitely be like, how dare this person just start ripping up his own work?
So I've got more. Don't worry.
You can
I'm not doing it
almost
with a
do.
good one.
I was gonna say you'd be super fancy and do origami with your own pages of your book. See, I love fantasy
Yeah.
origami. I just don't know origami with a rectangle shape. It has to be square, or else I can't figure it out. It's my brain doesn't work.
I'll
But
just cut
anywho,
it all the right shapes to do
there you
that.
go. Fantasy origami. Put your little
Stab everything
dragons,
in half.
wizard hats, and oh gosh.
Yeah.
How many ways to like make a book lover cringe? And you're like, you start with the book and you dog ear the page. You're just kidding. You tear it out. What?
Yeah, I think it'll be fun, and I think that's really the key with like in-person events and stuff is making the interactions memorable.
Oh
I
yeah.
usually do it like, with like the signing thing, but like this, I think will snap people. We'll see. I'm gonna try it for the first time. I'm doing a romance themed event in a couple weeks, so that'll be really interesting because I'm going to be like the only non-spicy author there. So I'm curious to see if that's a good idea or a bad idea.
Let me know how that goes. I've
Yeah.
heard that there are certain book events that are romantic themed for that the few non-romance people do very well, and then there are others that don't because again it just draws a certain type of readership, and that's kind of what they're looking for is the romantic or the
Right.
spice or whatever. So it'll be interesting. Always loving to learn what people's experiences are.
Should be good. Should be good. It's local, so I was like, I can't not try.
Yeah,
Is my
yeah.
thought.
It never hurts to try. I love that.
Hopefully.
But since we've reached the end of the hour, and it is not only the time I let out my dogs, but since I know my brain is zonked, I'll probably not. See, I'm already not speaking coherently. That's a problem. So I'm going to wish everybody adieu, unless anybody has a final thoughts of saying. So, is there anything you would like to, leave people talking about? Remembering you outside of tearing out that page of the book. Ah!
Don't worry, it was a damaged copy that would only suitable for the trash if it makes anyone feel any better. Elves on a Tank fighting orcs in Atlanta, genre bending epic fantasy, award-winning audiobooks, the whole 9 yards. I got you.
I love that, and I need you to teach me how to do better quick pitches because mine are like a paragraph and a half, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not good at those punchy things. That is something I still have yet to learn. But thank you so much for hanging out with me this week. I'm super excited about your upcoming release of book 2, and that fact that we just so happened to choose your 3rd-year anniversary of being an author today. So congratulations on your first
Thank
3 years. That's so exciting.
It is. It's a great way to celebrate.
And thank you for everybody who's chimed in and jumped on and hung out with us for this past hour. But again, I must bid you adieu. Must get some rest before I start signing my 300 and 400 books waiting upstairs tomorrow.
Suffering from success over here.
Yeah, well, it's just always reason to complain.
Sleep.
Okay, bye everyone, and happy reading. Bye.